Hey, what's going on, fam? So today's video, it's going to be a response to the common counterpoint that those of us in the No Black Agenda, No Vote camp always get when we talk about our No Black Agenda, No Vote strategy, and that's what's your solution? Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because Yvette Carnell released a video last night titled "What's Your Solution?" And even though I promised I'm not going to talk about the down ballot strategy anymore, I never said I'm going to stop talking about Yvette Antone because, like I said, just like they talk about Roland Martin or Charlemagne or whoever on multiple occasions, I have the right to talk about them on multiple occasions if I feel it's necessary. And I do feel it's necessary. That's why I'm making another video. But this is not about the down ballot stuff. I've already said I addressed that for the last time. If you want a detailed explanation and expose into all of the multiple explanations that Antonio Moore and Yvette Carnell have given for the down ballot strategy that all contradict each other, go watch one of my, or all of my, I recommend you watch all of my videos on the down ballot strategy. This is more so to talk about the No Black Agenda, No Vote strategy and the Democratic shill counterpoint. What's your solution? So the screenshot you see up, the screen cap you see for this video is of Angela Rye tweeting. It's of Angela Rye saying, "I have been telling y'all that racism is a bipartisan problem." Now let me say this. Angela Rye has nothing to do with the video I'm about to make. I'm not saying that her and Yvette Carnell are working together. I'm not saying she's involved or really has anything to do with this video, except for the fact that she's a known Democratic shill. For those of us who understand white supremacy and understand black agenda politics, she's a known Democratic shill, and I'm using what she's saying to show the kind of things that Democratic shills in general say. But other than that, she doesn't really have anything to do with this video. And as I go through this video, you'll see more why I used her as an example. So with Yvette Carnell's "What's Your Solution" video, let me say this. I did not watch the video. I watched about 2 minutes of it when it was being broadcast last night, and then I stopped because I couldn't take the trolling. I didn't have the time for the deflections and the non sequiturs that she was talking about. So I just turned off the video after watching it for about 2 to 3 minutes. So, and I watched it live for about 2 to 3 minutes, and I haven't gone back to try to listen to it. And I don't know if I will. I may, if I get a lot of requests to do a breakdown of the video, I may go back and listen to it and break it down. But for now, I kind of feel like it's a waste of time, because now I feel like Yvette is getting into a lot of deflections. Number one, I feel like she's hearing from No Black Agenda, No Vote people, maybe not necessarily my channel or that she's ever heard of my channel, because obviously my channel is insignificant as far as subscribers and views compared to hers. So I wouldn't say that she's necessarily seen my videos or even directly responding to my videos or anything that I'm saying. But what she is responding to is people who are talking like me, and maybe people who have even listened to my videos and brought some of the counterpoints and some of the flaws and holes in her Democratic down talk back to her. And I would not be surprised if she has yet added a new explanation to her Democratic down ballot talk, because again, at one point it's about they've admitted that it's about the Democrats, but then the next minute it's not about the Democrats. 1 minute it's about the primary, but then the next minute it's not about the primary. So I wouldn't be surprised if that video was full of her kind of backpedaling on stuff without admitting to it, because it's one thing to say, you know what, I was wrong. I shouldn't have been saying that. I shouldn't have been putting out that information. I was mistaken. I failed to explain it properly. I'm sorry. Or I shouldn't have been attacking No Black Agenda, No Vote people. You know, you guys have a decent strategy. Something, if she gave some kind of concession that she was wrong, it's okay to change. But when you just change your stances and you don't admit to the confusion or the lies or the wrong information you were giving before, that's you just borderline lying and being a shill. And that's why I brought up, that's why Angela Ree's screenshot or tweet screen cap is the being used for this video. Because as you can see, Angela Ree is claiming that she, quote unquote, been told us that racism is a bipartisan problem. However, when people like myself were executing the no black agenda, no vote strategy, while people like Yvette Carnell were voting for Bernie Sanders, Angela Ree was a Democratic shill. Since she's made this tweet, because this tweet was back in February of this year, Angela Ree has continued to be a Democratic shill. So just because you say you've been telling us something, don't mean you've been actually telling us, or doesn't mean that your actions line up with what you claim you've been saying or actually been saying. It doesn't matter if you actually did say that. If your actions don't line up with it, meaning you continue to be a Democratic shill, that's just you practicing more shill tactics that you learn from the white supremacists, more gaslighting tactics where you say one thing but you do another, but you want us to go off your word and not your actions. I've already pointed out how Yvette Carnell's Democratic down talk is very, very suspect and shill like if it's not a straight up shill operation. So the 2 to 3 minutes I heard her talking about how her history of calling out Obama, and she goes in on the Democrats and trying to defend herself about who she calls out. Yvette, that don't mean nothing if you still telling us to turn around and vote for the Democrats down ballot. It doesn't mean anything. And if you're trying to change up from the fact that you said that, that's more suspect shield tactics if you are not going to admit that you originally said that. And you're going to try to act like you never said what we heard you say. That's why I have produced tweets and video of you and Tone explaining your Democratic down ballot strategy, and you explaining it as a strategy to vote for the Democrats down ballot, even though they try to come up now and switch it and say that that's not what they're talking about. But they still can't explain what they're actually talking about, except for some down do your research. But they never called it that in the beginning. They only called it that after they got called out. Which what it looks like, I'm not saying it is, but what it looks like with all your confusion and double talk is that you fumbled your Democratic shield operation and exposed it too soon, and your white masters told you to fix it and lie because you exposed your hand too soon. And if that's not the case, again, like you said about Charlemagne and other people who I'm not defending because they deserve to be criticized, I'm just using an example. Just like Tone has said about Charlemagne and others, you need to step aside because you don't know enough. That's if you're not a shill. That's if you're not an agent. Because you're causing too much confusion and you won't even admit to the confusion. You just want to tell us that you didn't say something that we heard you say. And that's the part that I heard, was her giving this explanation about her history, and I'm just explaining how that don't really mean nothing if your actions don't line up with your alleged history. And then I see Yvette and Tone try to go back and talk about how long they've been calling out Obama, but you've been supporting people like Bernie Sanders after Obama was in office and after you allegedly started calling out Obama. So what does it mean when you call out one Democrat shill, but you support another? And yes, Bernie is a Democrat shill and a fake radical. And for those of you black people who think somehow that he's gonna free everybody and he's the man of the people, you're a fool and you don't understand how white supremacy works. I may make another video about that. I've gone in on Bernie Sanders on previous occasions, but he's a fake radical and a typical ass Democrat. And any black person who thinks he's not is confused about racism or a Democratic shill. End of story. But I digress because this video is not really meant to be about Bernie Sanders. It's about the counterpoint. What's your solution? So I just talked about the part of Yvette Carnell's video that I did see, the very short 2 to 3 minute clip that I did see. But let's talk about what I didn't see, but the title of the video. So I don't know if this is how Yvette, because I didn't watch the video, I don't know if this is how Yvette used the what's your solution talking point. But because we were practicing no black agenda, no vote in 2016 when Yvette Carnell was a Bernie Sanders supporter, we've already heard this "what's your solution" talking point. Anytime we told a Democratic shill or a black person who's still confused about our no black agenda, no vote strategy, they would tell us, "What's your solution? What's your solution? What's your solution? What you gonna do? Just sit at home?" And I've already go watch the strategy of no black agenda, no vote explained video. We've already explained this several times. Y'all just keep asking this question because you think it's gonna make us stutter and stumble, but it's not, because a lot of these boule Negroes and these Negroes who brag about the degrees they've gotten from white supremacists and white supremacist institutions, because we live in a system of white supremacy. All degrees are white supremacist degrees and white supremacist learning institutions, even HBCUs. That's why we get so many Democratic shills and coons who used to go to HBCUs. So, therefore, these elitist Negroes who think they have some kind of education and some kind of mental superiority over us, so they think they can tell us anything and it'll work. So they think that they can come with this "what's your solution" stuff and it's going to make us stutter and stumble because they think they have so much intellectual superiority. The "what's your solution" thing is a deflection. For example, we've already explained how no black agenda, no vote is a strategy just like Operation Down Ballot. So if we're going to use the "what's your solution" counterpoint to no black agenda, no vote, even though the strategy has already been explained behind no black agenda, no vote, then I get to ask, what's your solution, even though you have an Operation Down Ballot babble? Because Operation Down Ballot is not a solution. It's a strategy. We don't know if it's going to work. It's not a solution. And I doubt that it will work because you're still supporting the Democrats. So it is not a solution. So you're trying to claim that you offering Operation Down Ballot is somehow you offering a solution, and it's not. We have a solution, just like we have a strategy for a solution, just like you have a strategy for a solution. Even if you disagree and you feel like Operation Down Ballot is a smart thing to do and no black agenda, no vote is a stupid thing to do, both are strategies. Neither has solved anything at this point. But to act like Operation Down Ballot is somehow a quote unquote solution and no black agenda, no vote is not, is disingenuous and non-serious talk, because it is a solution. It's just not a solution that you agree with. Just like your alleged solution, if it's a solution, is just not a solution we agree with. But neither are really solutions because the problem hasn't been solved yet. There's strategies to get a solution. But if we're going to assume that Operation Down Ballot is a solution, then so is no black agenda, no vote. And we are not going to continue to go, and this is one of the main reasons why I didn't really watch her video, is because we're not going to continue to entertain this trolling where you keep asking us over and over what's our solution as a way to make it seem like we don't have one when we do. Because if that's the case, anytime you ask me what's my solution, I'm going to ask you what's yours. Because Operation Down Ballot ain't no damn solution. That's just going and doing what we've been doing, minus the least impactful vote, which is the presidential vote, which doesn't even go towards the damn president. That's why Bush won without the popular vote and Trump won without the popular vote. Because your individual vote don't go towards the presidency. It goes towards your state's vote. And if your state does not vote for the same person that you did, your vote didn't go towards your own candidate. It went towards the person you didn't want to win. So that's the least impactful place to leave blank. If anything, you should only vote the top of the ballot and leave the rest of it blank. But they've explained the opposite. And I know they'll go back and double and triple talk. And just for those of you who don't know, when I keep saying double talk is when you say two things that are usually conflicting or cannot be the same thing, yet you're claiming that they're the same thing or that they are very similar or interconnected when they cannot be. For example, when Yvette Carnell out of one side of her mouth says Democrat down ballot, and then out the other side of her mouth says do your research down ballot. It's double talk. Either you do your research down ballot with no bias towards any particular party, or you vote Democrat down the ballot, like what you said it was. That's double talk. For those of you who don't know and want to challenge me when I say it's double talk, that is double talk. You cannot do both at the same time. Either you're doing one or the other. Either you are assuming that Democrats are your friends down the ballot, or you are doing your research without assumptions down the ballot. This is the double talk that comes out of their camp. And then they come with this weak ass deflection about what's your solution when we have one. We have a strategy. You just don't like it. But just because you don't like it don't mean we don't have one. And if you will not consider it a solution because it has not solved anything, then neither are your strategies because they have not solved anything. So this babble about what your solution is just that babble, and I don't have the energy to waste my time watching Yvette Carnell talk in circles and deflect for 3 hours with a weak ass Democratic shill talking point. And anyway, fam, this was just another video. I'm kind of going in on that weak what's your solution talking point because that's exactly what it is. And I just wanted to break that down and talk about it real quick and talk about why I don't really have the energy to go deep and deflect every point she made in that video because it's a waste of time, especially with what you titled your video. You titled your video a Democratic shill talking point video, and you're looking worse and worse the more you talk of Ed Carnell. But anyway, I've already spoken my piece on that down ballot stuff. So again, go look back and watch videos on my channel if you want a deeper explanation about the huge problems with her Democratic down ballot talking. But anyway, fam, that's another video. Like, share, subscribe. Peace.